Good afternoon here on Trading with the Box on March 16, 2026 here at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon here. And we're going to go over some stocks and some new set of stocks in this session. And first of all, this is not a recommendation to buy, hold, sell any stocks, futures, equities, Forex, any options. This is an educational video only. If you'd like to purchase stocks, please contact a licensed professional and they will help you there. Okay, or the brokerage house of your choice also. Okay, S&P 500, let's go over it today, right now. So we have this is exactly what's going on here with the S&P 500. I want everybody to look at this. So we had a basing here, okay? So let's call this, let's say 1, 2, 3, and then 4 peaks down. So now we have a little more increasing volume down in this area. We have the 200-day moving average, which we're probably going to come up to this and retest this over here. So if this stops and we form a W and we get some good news and some engulfing and good volume coming up in this area, we could actually come back and start trending in a different way. But let's see what happens. It could be a little bit away from that, okay? I want to go over GEV with everybody. I just wanted to go over the S&P 500 fast with everybody and show them what I think is happening in that spot. Okay, GEV, okay, GE Vernova. Okay, this has been an unbelievable run. Okay, now look at where we were. We're almost $900 at one point. Okay, so this is the thing here. So let's look at the weekly chart first because we always want to see what direction we're in and where we are. Okay, and we had support right down in, that's a good number, $777, right in that area. Okay. So now what I suspect could be happening here is we get a little bit of a possible pullback. Well, this is what we want. But nothing ever happens exact. But look at this W formation forming. Okay, now we have more sellers than buyers at this spot here. But let's see how the volume ends up today. Now, this could happen. We can get this, and then we could start going up again, okay? This has been an amazing, amazing stock. Okay, or you can get this. You get this, and then we can start coming down, and come back, and we can start changing in the trend. Okay, I'm not sure about that. This is a powerhouse. We do have more sellers the last few days than buyers here, okay? So let's continue to keep watching on the GEV. Now, Tesla, let's go over to Tesla. Now, Tesla, okay? With Tesla, we're sitting where? Where are we sitting? Right now at the 200-day moving average on the daily chart. Now, we came down with this capitulation candlestick on March 9th, right here. We touched the 381.24, and then we came back, okay? So we are holding this area here in this little spot, which is 393.50. That's the 200-day moving average in that spot. But let's go over to the weekly chart. Now, on the weekly chart, look at this. Okay, look what's happening here. We have this little trend down right here. See the channel? Look at the channel. See the channel? But we have dojis on the weekly chart. We have a doji here. We have a doji here. Let's see what happens this week, okay? We have a stochastic all the way on the bottom here, okay, getting ready. Now, remember where you are. Always know where you are. Right up here at the 490, what was the high here? On December 22nd, the week of December 22nd, we had a high of 498.83. Okay, so now we're at 397.27. So we had a beautiful discount on Tesla. We got an incredible discount. Let's look at the 2-hour chart. Let's get rid of the ink. And on the 2-hour chart, what happens on the 2-hour chart? Now squeeze your chart. Always squeeze the chart. We have a basing formation here. We have a trading within the box right here. See it? Right here. So we have support, sell, buy area, sell area, buy area. Then we come back. This is a little bit of a support area. And then we get here. And then now with Tesla on a 2-hour chart, if this breaks this area, okay, right in this spot, right there, okay, then all the shorts that are in that spot will go long. And then you'll get a pop, but that remains to be seen right now. Let's look at a monthly chart on Tesla. I want to see what the overall consensus is here with Tesla. And right here, we are still heading down. We have downward pressure. This is the problem. That's why we can't get out of the way. We have the downward pressure with the monthly chart. We could still go down to this 20-day moving average on the monthly chart and hit it. Okay, it's very possible that we could get into that range. Okay, so just keep watching and keep watching. You could even go to a 3-hour chart. And now on a 3-hour chart, let's just go to 3-hour chart. And now look at the 200-day moving average, not being supported yet by the institutions, still in a downtrend. Okay, so that's why I added the 200-day moving average just to show everybody that. Okay, let's go over to Google. On Google, and on Google, we're still down, pulling back here. This is still a little correction. So we're up in that 350, and now we're at 30. Today we're at 304, but we did hit that. Was a low here on March 9th. We had a low of 293.93. So okay, so still holding its own here. I wouldn't say it, it's the end of the world here or anything like that, but let's look at the weekly volume, okay? Because that's going to dictate. Now, the weekly, this is another reason why it's holding in that spot. The weekly chart, we have the stochastic all the way in the bottom. So these are going to be set up at one point for some good, good deals coming up. 20-day moving average, holding the 20-day moving average right here in this spot, okay? Now, if it breaks, you do have some support levels right here, in this spot right here in that $300 range. A little bit lower possible. Let's see where that actually really is. 276.77-ish. Okay, and then you have a 50-day moving average, 261.36. So let's go over to the monthly chart on gold because we want to know what the overall consensus is here. Now, this has been such an incredible run. Okay, look at the month. These are months. Each one of these candlesticks are months at a time. You see that? Okay, so right now, you're just hanging up there. You could hold the 9-day moving average on the monthly chart, very possible, and just keep going up at that point and get a embedded stochastic. On the daily chart, okay, we're showing right now we're still not being supported, okay? The volume is lowering a little bit. If you see it in this area, look at this area right here, and then look at the selling volume, and then look at this area where the selling volume is getting a little lighter. Okay, so that's with Google. Let's go over to Costco. Now on Costco, this has been holding its own. Now let's look at the weekly chart on Costco. Okay, so now we ran into the wall. Okay, we ran into a wall, and now on the week of February 17th, we hit up that area. On the week of February 9th, we hit up into this area. The highs was 1,022.88, so 1022-ish. Then we had 1028 on the week of February 17th, who pushed up into those areas with lighter volume. So now look at the volume down here. Let's get the ink out. Look at the volume right in that little void right there. So you came up in that area with lighter volume. That's why you pulled back all the way back, okay? Now you had a capitulation candlestick on the week of March 2nd, and they brought it right back up, okay? So that was an earnings week, okay? So now it's holding sideways, and we do have a little bit of this pennant formation. We have the squeeze play coming, okay? Now, we did get this a lot of times on Costco. Okay, look at the squeeze play, the pennant formation, okay? Right there. So we want to see if this area right here is going to break at one point, okay? Because all those shorts that are hanging out up in this area, right, are going to go long if it breaks this spot, okay? And it has to break it with convincing volume, okay? Let's look at a monthly chart. Let's look at the overall view. Now, on the 10-12-36, okay? This month so far, we're at the middle of the month, so we don't know what's going to happen with this candlestick. But we slammed right into it, then they pulled it back and they bought it back. Now we have, look at the monthly stochastic, how wide apart it is, okay? See that? We're still in the sweet spot to go up. Now they will pull back, and then we want to get that W formation. We want to get that right side, which is that retest W, right, on that monthly chart, and that's going to be a locomotive if that happens. Now, always remember, that's why we watch every day, because if that's going to happen, right? Let's go over to managing it daily would be on the 2-hour chart, okay? And that's why we're struggling up in this range, We're struggling up in this range, and we're going size another trading within the box. Right here, trading within the box. Because, why? Because you are sitting up in a major, let's go back to the weekly chart, in a major sell area right there, okay? Now, let's do a little volume analysis on Costco really quick here, okay? Let's go over it. So we go into the swing point on June 2nd, 2025 with 10.72 million shares, okay? Then we're pushing up with that with 13.39, okay? Now, we come into that area with 11. So now we start dying. We go into 10.7 million shares with 11 million shares. Then on February 17th, we went in with 7 million shares, and that's why we pulled back, okay? So that's going to be consistent. That's why you're running into that problem, okay? And you're also going into March 3rd, 2000. Remember, this is the week of, on the weekly chart, on March 3rd, you're going in you're going with almost 15 million shares, okay? So you're hitting a wall here, and that's why you're struggling in this area, okay? So people were asking me about that. I wanted to go over that really quick with everybody. Let's go over to Walmart, being that we're doing some retail here. Now, let's look at RTH, okay, first. Let's look at RTH. Now, actually, RTH is, okay, let's forget that. Let's just go over to Walmart right now. Okay, Walmart. Okay, so Walmart. Let's go to Walmart. So here on Walmart, people asking about Walmart, and a few of my friends have had Walmart for a while. Now, they bought it all the way back here, okay? Back here in, it's a long-term investment from 2015, okay? And then they added in 2018 and after the flash crash, okay, in 2020. So forget about that, with that said and everything. Look at this locomotive, okay? Look how Walmart just rode the rope, as we call it. They ride the rope right here. Look at this. This is keeps pulling back to the 20-day moving average on the weekly chart. Boom. Institutions buy. Institutions buy. Now they won't even pull back to the 20-day. It pulls back to the 9-day moving average. And what happens? Boom. Then you get this. Look at this monster. You get this monster buy signal right here at 118.04. So a monster coming in that area. Okay. Right before, weeks before earnings. Okay. Coming in. And then coming back. Now, always remember what I always say. It will come back to this area at one point. Right in here, somewhere, it will come back to it. Just put that on your calendar. So if you're looking for the pullback, it will come back to it at one point. Now, on a monthly situation here, we're hung up in a major sell area at 125.97. So this is something that I would, if I was far away from the moving averages here, I'd want it to pull back, okay? I would be waiting for that to pull back if I was going to get into it. That's just me. It's not telling you what to do. Just me. Okay. So, okay. Now on Visa, let's go over to Visa. Now on Visa, I want everybody to look at this because this was a monster, you know, probably one of the greatest stock buys of all time to hold for long term. Okay. Look at this. Now we come up into this 369 range. Now on the monthly chart, we're all the way on the bottom. We're 308. Okay. So we're sitting at a major support area, okay, at this 308 range, okay, on Visa. Let's go over to the weekly chart, okay. On the weekly chart, Visa is sideways consolidation, now pulling back, and you also have support at this level. So we're down in this area here, but what do we want from Visa when we want to get back in it, okay? We want to make sure that we comes off support, comes off with good volume, want to get this, and then we go back to the 2-hour chart and we start watching the trend start changing. Okay, that's what we wanted to see on Visa when we want to get back into that one. Okay, that one on the daily chart on Visa, which they're still not supporting it. They're still below the moving average, and we still had some good sell volume in that area. Okay, so they'll probably bounce it up here to 315-ish, and then you want to get the pullback, and then see exactly what are they gonna do at that point. Okay. Let's go to American Express, being that we're doing the credit cards. Now, American Express took a hit, okay? So look at the correction on American Express. American Express was way up here in that 386 range. Now we are at a major support area, okay? So we flush out of volume, where it's right here. You have to flush out of volume. And then you have to be careful here because this could break down and then you get the break step. Now, a lot of times what they'll do is they'll come back up to the 50-day moving average. If it comes back with like lighter volume in this area, you know they're going to hit it again, okay? So just that's the whole thing. You want to watch the volume as it's coming down. Now with the monthly chart, you're still heading down. You could still go down further here, okay, on American Express. So this selling could be maybe not done yet. Look at the volume. Look at as we stretch this right here. Look at this volume. Whoops, sorry, I meant to hit the pen. Right there. Look at that selling volume month by month by month, the last 2 months. And then look at the buying volume up there, okay? That's when they start hitting it, okay? So that's something that you could just continue to keep waiting for the trend to break. And that's something that we're going to be continuing to watch. Sorry, I had a frog on my throat there. Okay, so now let's go over to Verizon. On Verizon, look at Verizon. Now on Verizon, let's go to the monthly chart first, okay? So now I want you to look at the 200-day moving average right here, okay, with this red line, okay? Now look at this area, okay? They hit a wall as it came up into it. Came back, boom, hit a wall. Came back, boom, hit a wall. Then what happens here? Now look at the breakout. I want to show you the breakout on a monthly chart. Now this doesn't mean that it's going to just keep going up now. Right now you're in a resistance area. 5166 is a major sell area, okay? And you're far away from the moving averages and the support line. You have this little gap void, okay? So we want to see a pullback here. But this is a major, major breakout on a monthly chart, okay? It's a major breakout. Now, on the weekly chart, where are you, okay? And always remember that old great wrestling coach used to say, know where you are, 5166. Again, right there, boom. You got a sell area. You got dojis coming in, okay? You want to get a pullback. You're far away from the moving average. You want to get the pullback. You want to watch on the 2-hour chart. Well, first you're going to go to your daily chart. And you want to see, I mean, this could still go up a little bit to 52.45, but you want to get that. You got to get that little discount so you can get that pullback, okay? But when these break out like that, they are very, very, very strong, okay? That's something that, like I always say, you just got to continue to watch. That's the problem. People forget about it. They get busy in their lives. And, rightfully so. Everybody's got a busy life working and doing what they got to do. Okay, so now McDonald's. Now, McDonald's, in this area here, okay, you are at that, you went up to that 329.12, you got past it, you went up to 341-ish or whatever, that range, and now want to see what they're going to do. Now, they're going to have earnings coming up here the week of April 20th, okay, which is basically almost a little more than a month from now. So sitting at support on the 9-day moving average with a doji, okay? Let's see what McDonald's is going to do. Are they going to hold? Is McDonald's going to, let's look at the line chart. Is McDonald's going to give you one of these deals? Because if it does, and you get this, and then you come in and you get good earnings, boom, we head back up again, okay? So with the dojis here with the indecision per week. Now, last week there was a little bit of an indecision resting on the support with the buy area, okay? You did have a daily buy area right here at 322.53. Now, you are in a resistance area as it's pulling back on McDonald's, okay? So you have three peaks right now on the daily chart. You have 1, 2, and 3, okay, right there. So if the volume's pretty light, it's lighter than normal, but if it comes here and it holds and you get the engulfing, then you're off to the races again. Now, if you start to get this and then boom, you break the 50-day moving average on the daily chart, then boom, we're correcting. Okay, we're going to correct. Okay, that's what will happen with McDonald's. Okay, my good friend, 3M, has 3M, and he wanted me to check it for him also. And now on 3M, you see the 20-day moving average on a monthly chart at 146.79, which is a major buy area. Okay, but you do have the pressure to the downside here. Okay, look how the pressure is to the downside on the monthly chart. Okay, then you go over to the weekly chart because you want to work your way up. Look at the correction here. You have a little bit of a correction here. Now look at the volume picking up with the selling volume. Stochastics on the bottom. That doesn't mean anything. We could come back up. Now if you come back up with some green stuff that's like looks like this, and you're light and you're half of this amount, boom, they're going to come and hit it again, and then you'll be in that little correction area. Okay. Now you do have support levels right in this spot right here. Okay. And where would that be? That would be, again, in that 147.89 range, in that area. So when you're confused and you don't know what to do, you want to just trade it, always go to your 2-hour chart. That'll give you what's happening, okay? And you're still not being supported by the institutional money. But look at this for a trade. Now, right here, you got major support right there, and support right there, okay? So let's see. We still have support at 148.71. Let's see if they bounce again. Now, it looks like the volume is drying up a little bit, okay? On Coca-Cola, KO, knockout, because they have been that great for so many years, right? Monthly chart on Coca-Cola, you got up into the sell area, so 82.07. That's a short, right in that spot. That's not a surprise to anybody. Go to a weekly chart, and what happens now? For the time being, for now, this is just for now. We did hit. Well, they did give dividends out on March 9th, okay, and the support area was at 76.81-ish in that range. So you had a major support area right there. Now we go up, we move it up. Let's move it up to the daily chart. Now you do have support right under you, and you're basing here. Now go to your line chart. See if we got a W formation forming. Okay, we possibly do right here. Okay, this could always break and fail, but look at this. We got this going on. We got lighter volume in this spot, which is a good sign. What do we do at Coca-Cola? We look right here. So we do have, right now, we had a capitulation candlestick. We came back with, let's go to the volume analysis. We came down with 23 million shares, okay? We tested it with 11.5. That's a price rejection at 76.64, okay? You come back with 16.8 million shares. That's still very light volume, okay? Now we get a gap up here. Let's see what they're going to do on Coca-Cola, because we're hitting resistance right now. So if we're confused, what are we going to do? Because we're coming up with really nothing here. We're going to go to the 2-hour chart and see what they're going to do. We're going to go to the 2-hour chart. And what do we see here? On the 2-hour chart, we have higher lows. We have capitulation candlesticks right here. So you got 2 in a row, right? So from this point, actually you have 3 right here. That's a 90% chance for a trade. Sorry, my handwriting is disgusting. For just to go up a little bit for a trade. Now you remember your sell area is right here, okay? So let's say you were down in this area and you wanted 77.10 and you put a limit order up there, and you got a little trade out of it, okay? I'm not saying it's much, but you want to continue to watch. Now the volume here, it did pull back and it's holding. Now trading within the box right here, what do we want to know? We want to know if it's going to break this area. When it does break this area on the 200-day area, 200-day moving average ahead of it, it's probably going to hit it somewhere, come back, and then you want to see it bust through, okay? Right now, you don't have the volume for that, okay? You just don't, okay? J&J, let's go over to J&J. And J&J, let's go to monthly chart. So on J&J, look at this locomotive. Now, this is when you get those sideways, this is a monthly chart, okay? So this does go back to, 2022-ish, okay? and before then. Look at this right here. You have the downward channel. That's a downward channel. And then these are like sideways consolidations. Then when you get the breakout past this point, all the shorts turn and go long. And that's what happened with silver. And that's what happened with a lot of other things that broke out. Caterpillar did. And you had those big, now you're up in the sell area. So let's see what they're going to do with J&J. Now, J&J was, let's go over to, where are we? Okay. Now, J&J pulling back to, it got up and above the 234.53, and it's holding in this spot. So let's see what's going to happen here if it holds. If it's going to hold in this area, you want a line chart, you want to see what's going to happen here, okay? I want to see, whoop, we hit the wrong candlesticks. Okay, so we're gonna continue to watch that 2-hour chart on J&J, and now on J&J, we want to make sure that we don't start dropping here. Want to see if it's going to hold sideways. Okay, looks like that's what it probably will do in this area, but it looks like it could drift back to support. Okay, so J&J, that's we only have a few left to go here. Nike, let's go with the Nike. Nike is correction. So now watch this on Nike, because this is really came down. Okay, Nike was up in this on the month of November of 2021. We had a high of 179.10. Okay, so now we are at a major support area. Now look at this on a monthly chart. Major support buy area right in this spot. Because why? Because when we came down on April of 2025 with 500, this month, each one of these candlesticks is 1 month, 574 million shares, okay? We came back into it, 504, 323, 286, and we haven't gotten done with this month, but we're at 200 million. So let's say we get into that 380 million shares. We're coming, we don't know for sure, but I'm just saying, or it could be even lighter than that, going into the 574. That's a price rejection at that point. Okay, so they'll probably bounce that at one point. Okay, it doesn't mean it's going to trend change, but it looks like it could be a bounce. And if you're looking for a bounce there, you're definitely on a weekly chart, and then you're going to move over to your daily. And when you get to that daily chart, you're below a support line right now. So you want to see possibly maybe 53.39 it goes to. You have a lot of selling volume here. And when you go to the 2-hour chart, you'll see that it just keeps trending below the 50-day moving average, below the 20-day moving average, below the 9-day moving average. And it's continuously just not being supported by the institutions. Right now, they've been shorting, they short the heck out of it. UNH, United Healthcare, which is another story which I'm not going to talk about with healthcare, okay? But something needs to happen. Okay, so we come down heavy. The month, this is a monthly chart. I want to see the big picture first. On the month of May 2025, 620, almost 627 million shares. Okay, we came up into that, right, with 417 and 274. That's a failure, okay, because you came down with 626 million shares. You know it's not going to sustain. As it's coming back, now last January, in January of 2026, we had 232 million shares, roughly, going into 626. There's a price rejection here. And now look at this. Look at this W4, this retest W, okay? This could be a monster here, okay? For just us, this is a trade. This is not a trend change, okay? This is a trade, possibly up to 328, possibly up to 378. That's what we're looking. That's what I'm looking to do. I'm not telling anybody what to do, but that's what this is telling me here. Okay, so this could be up for a really good setup on UNH. Now, if you go to the daily chart, you're still not being supported. You had a gap down. Okay, so let's see. Right now we're running sideways here. Okay, because we're at a support area, and that's what's going to happen. Just like resistance, if you flipped it, you're going sideways because you're in a sell area, and now you're in a buy area, and that's why you're going sideways. Now you could be basing here. Basing is a very important thing. High, low, high, low, high, low. Okay, and you could just get that, and then once you get that, you got to be careful. You got to get through all this. You got to get through 297.80. Then you got to get through the 303.59, and then you got to get through the 313.91. Okay, and then you could fill that gap. Now, if you fail anywhere halfway through that gap and you start failing, forget it. You have to be able to, in order for this to change, you need to go more than halfway through the gap. Okay, and the last one is MU. That's the last one here because we're over 30 minutes here. And MU, the Micron Technologies, I just want to show everybody here that Micron Technologies, now monthly chart. Let's go over it. People are like, oh, where do I sell? Where do I buy? I'm telling you where the institutions buy and sell. Right here at 452.55. Okay. Now you did have a really nice support level right here at 368.98. Okay. So they came off it and they bought it right off that support area. And where did they buy? It's right here. See, now this is a weekly chart. Look how it came back to it. They bought, right? Let's get the ink. They came back to it, bought off 368.98. Came back to it again. This is 1 week at a time here, okay? Came back up. These are sell signals right here because you have the capitulations coming down, coming down, coming down. And then, you're going to take a ride back down to support again. Boom. What happens at support? Another great trade. Boom. Back up to 452.55. And now you got a doji. And let's see what happens this week with it, okay? Now you're in a sell area for a trade, okay? On Micron Technologies, okay? I'm a Micron, okay? So you go over to the daily chart. You have a gap up with a doji. Let's see if it holds. Now, if this holds and starts breaking, you could be at 384.76, okay? Now watch your 2-hour chart because this is how they change. The trends start to change. See how you were below moving average, below moving average, below moving average. Then you start changing. You get up and above the 200-day moving average and you hold it. You hold it. Look at the volume coming in. You could see the institutional money coming in right there. You can't hide the volume. Okay. So then you break this area. Once you break this area right here and you hold it, boom, here they are again. And now they're pulling back. You can see the profit taking. I'm not selling this, selling into it, but they're profit taking. Okay. For a pullback. With that said, I want to thank everybody for watching. Thank everybody for coming. Please subscribe my channel. If you like the content, please share it. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you in a few days.